So we're all familiar with student ploys to get out of working in class, but now with distance learning, the kids are way ahead of us. I work from home, and my husband's a mathematics teacher at the same school where my 2 teen daughters go to school. Their school moved to distance learning before schools in the US did, so I got to witness firsthand some serious shenanigans. While my husband was trying to teach algebra in one room, in another room, one daughter was doing handstands and yoga in front of the computer for PE, while the other one was on the couch watching Macbeth for English. By listening in to their classes and talking to teachers, I was amazed at the lengths that kids would go to avoid classwork and outsmart their teachers. So what misbehaviors are kids doing? One study by Lee and Titsworth categorized online problem behaviors as follows: seeking unallowed assistance, cheating; aggressiveness, like being rude or bullying; lack of communication, like going AWOL, not showing up at all; and then internet slacking, sleeping, multitasking. And from what I'm seeing, internet slacking is currently one of the most common problems. One of my girls has a classmate who would log on to the class session, happily greet the teacher during roll call, set an alarm for the end of class, and then fall asleep. It was also pretty common for students to turn off their cameras, mute themselves, and then go on their phone to play video games or message with friends. Once, I even walked into the room and my daughter was FaceTiming on her iPad with the same classmates that were in the class. And she's happily chit-chatting throughout the class until the teacher called on her, and then she unmuted herself, answered the question, muted herself again, and went back to her FaceTime. So if teachers confront students on their slacking, the students say, "Oh, I didn't have the code to log in," or "My connection was bad," or "My camera doesn't work," "My microphone isn't working," "My computer crashed." Whenever they get caught, they blame it on technical difficulties. This is impossible for teachers to refute because it could actually be true. I would actually add another behavior to the list, and that is distracting behavior. Kids are doing all kinds of distracting things, like using video filters. My daughter had a classmate who had a video filter on, wearing sunglasses and the word "sexy" over his head for the entire class. Another time, a high school girl logged in wearing only a bra, and another classmate of hers literally started to dye his hair pink during class on camera. Very distracting behavior. So let's look at what parents and schools can do to support better behavior in their students. So let's start with parents. What can parents do? As a parent, it feels nearly impossible to keep up with what our kids are doing. Yes, when I walk in the room and my 13-year-old is giggling with earbuds and a Korean face mask on, that literally just happened, I sort of get the clue that she's not in class, and she also appears not to be studying. Even if I had all of her passwords and knew how to log in to the 3 different platforms her teachers are using to teach her, how could I possibly keep up? It's as though we know we can't really monitor our kids, but our kids know it too. Here are some of the rules, as feeble as they may be, that we've established in our house. Number 1, have a workspace in a common area of the house, like the kitchen table, and then only use your bedroom when you're actually in a live class. We can't have 3 live class meetings going on in the same room at the same time. 2, don't multitask. School is school, and then breaks are breaks. When you're supposed to be in class or supposed to be studying, don't multitask. Take lots of breaks and do what you want, but don't pretend to be working when you're not. 3, take lots of physical movement breaks. Walk the dog, go ride your bike, climb a tree in the park. Heck, how about washing your own dishes after making your first breakfast, second breakfast, and 11sies? 4, no cell phones in the bedroom. Do you need your cell phone in your room for class? Nope. There is 0 reason a kid would need their phone for class unless they don't have a computer. So let's talk about what schools can do. Teachers and school administrators are really in uncharted territory. They're doing the best that they can to continue educating children. They're coming up with innovative and engaging activities. My husband actually shaved his head one weekend and then leaked it to the students so the rumor would spread and they would be motivated to log in on Monday. So here are a few things to make it harder for kids to slack and easier for parents to support you. First, please use only one learning platform. The whole school should use the same, whether it's Google Classroom and Google Meet or Zoom or whatever. Multiple platforms are too hard to keep track of for kids, and it makes it impossible for parents to monitor. And then clearly share with parents how they can log in and monitor class attendance and grades. Send calendar invites to the students that are repeating with the link to the class meeting. That way they don't have to constantly look for it. And when you communicate, use the same method. Are you using Gmail? Great. Do you expect parents to log into your website? It's fine to share information in multiple ways, but whatever you do, keep at least one consistent way across the school that information is shared, from assignments to announcements to new health regulations. Even if one learning platform or communication method is your favorite because it has more bells and whistles, it does not make up for the fact that parents and students cannot keep up with all the different ways information is being shared. Yours is not the only class. Yours is not the only school. Many students have 8 classes, and then many parents have students at different schools. This is a time to make some common agreements that maybe we don't love, but we understand that it's better for children and their families. Number 2, establish clear behavioral expectations, not just for students, but for parents too. Send home instructions on what parents can expect, a sample schedule for the day with movement breaks included. In classrooms, work together with students to create online expectations, everything from how to log in to how you expect them to behave during class. For more on setting up classrooms, see my video on how to bring PBIS and restorative practices to your online classroom. Also in that video is how to create community in an online classroom. For many students, the main draw to log into class is to have contact with their peers and with you. They miss being together and they want to see everyone. Capitalize on that by doing community building circle activities and spending at least some time each class period interacting. Use positive reinforcement and reward students for being on task and for having great attendance with fun class rewards like choosing the intro music to your class or changing the teacher's cursor or choosing the topic this week for the community circle. I have a blog post on my website with a huge list of rewards in a distance learning environment for individual students, for your whole class, rewards parents can give at home, and even rewards for staff. And last, schools should try to monitor the workload. We want to track how much work is being assigned by teachers and make sure that it's not excessive. So now let's talk about possible consequences for misbehavior in an online learning environment. At this point in the game, I don't know that schools can come down too harshly on these behaviors. I would say, except in cases of rudeness, bullying, or other socially aggressive behavior, we really should tread carefully. We don't want to spend too much energy catching misdeeds, but instead we want to focus as much as possible on creating community and then trying to get kids to learn what they can. Here are some suggestions for consequences. First, email the students regarding your concerns. Tell them that the next time you're going to need to copy the administrator and maybe their parent, informing them what the student is doing or not doing. Then, a detention could be a scheduled Zoom or Google Meet with the teacher, maybe the school administrator, and then talk to the student about what's going on and try to get to what the issues are and what are the barriers to online learning. If the problem persists, invite the parents to the online meeting as well. You may find the student needs support academically or technically that you can provide. Next, invite the parent to sit with the student during class. Just a caution here, parents need clear instructions to observe only. There have been a few unfortunate cases that parents are lurking in the background and criticizing teachers or other students. Not cool. If the issue is with several students in the class, hold a classroom problem-solving circle online to address the issue. Like how does non-participation impact our classroom community? Or how does classroom disruptions affect our class? Last, consider that this student needs increased interventions or supports. Some kids are not going to benefit very much from this type of a learning environment. Some school districts are actually creating an on-site location where students who are showing zero participation can report a few times a week. They'll get individualized support from a teacher. They'll track homework and assignments. Students that are AWOL or not doing any work at all most likely will not want to do this, but some are going to need it. If you can set something up like this, it seems to be working for a lot of other schools. Students avoiding schoolwork is not new. Given that this distance learning could go on for some time, it's probably worthwhile for us to pursue how to engage our students more effectively. In fact, 90% of our energy should be spent on positive engagement and less than 10% on chasing down misbehavior. So be sure to check out my other videos and blog posts on how to make distance learning as positive and relationship rich as possible.